you out there? Awesome! DC fans, get the hell out. Okay. Folks, one thing that DragonCon, by the way, my name is Mark Lee. Absolutely no relation. My mom hasn't told him yet. But anyway, seriously, it is Mark Lee. One of the things that DragonCon has always been very, very proud of are the icons that we bring to you each and every year. So without any further ado, we'd like to bring yet another icon. He was here once before. So let's give a nice, rousing Excelsior to Mr. Stan Lee!
Oh boy, this is loud. Glad to see you, except I can't see any of you. I want you to know to us there's just a big black blur there. And it's a good thing, because if I saw one empty seat, I'd get up and go. So let the torture begin.
Okay, folks, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to moderate this panel. It's going to really roll fast. I know there's a lot of things you guys want to know and hear. If there are any questions that you have whatsoever, we have microphone locations out in the aisles. There's a piece of yellow tape that's down on the floor. You line up behind that location if you have a question, and hopefully we can see out there that once the house lights go up.
Can you really see anything out there?
Because of the superpowers you've granted me, sir, I can see everything and anything that's out there. Oh, naked woman. No, never mind.
Hell of a joke to put on it. Such a disappointment. Fills me up and lets me smash to the ground. All right.
Mr. Lee, it's been a hell of a year this year. It's been a hell of a year, especially in motion pictures. What do you think?
Yeah, Marvel could have done a little more. I mean, geez, you know, the Avengers, Spider-Man, you'd think they'd really get on the ball and produce more stuff. But, well, you know, and nobody's perfect.
As always, we're always happy to see you on film. You obviously have a standing order that says you must appear in every Marvel movie imaginable, and due to the fact that there are so many characters out there, we will not allow you to leave us anytime soon, at least within the next 40, 50, 80 years.
You know, I wish that were the case. There is no standing order that I have to do a cameo. And every new movie that starts, I say, gee, I hope they'll remember me. And luckily, I do get the call, but they don't have to do it. In fact, if they had any brains, no, I won't say if they had any brains, they wouldn't do it, because I finally realized the reason they give me the cameos, and I know you'll go along with me on this. You know, The Avengers, for example, was a very successful movie, made a lot of money. Now, the reason it made so much money was on account of me, because of me, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to explain it, you'll understand. I had a very brief cameo, and it was towards the end, and a lot of people missed it. Now, what does somebody do when they miss my cameo? They go right back to the box office, buy another ticket, and we got to see that cameo, we'll watch it again. So I figure, if not for me, they'd only have made half as much money. See, I'm a mathematician also. I figure these things out.
You're absolutely right. I did,
course.
in fact, watch the Avengers, and I remember seeing your cameo, and immediately came to my mind is, oh, the Avengers are in this movie too.
I hate people who say things better than I do.
Well, we do have the same last name, so. Let's open the floor, I guess, for anyone that has any questions. We'll go back and forth with conversation, obviously interesting questions. Raise your hand. I have lights in my eyes.
That's a funny statement, open the floor. I picture it opening and everybody dropping in. You know, the English language is very strange, and you're going to hate me. I keep interrupting. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, very strange.
You have to go out to a microphone that's out in the aisleways. I see someone in the audience. There you go. Thank you, sir. sir. Let's go on this side of the room where I'm pointing.
Mr. Lee, it's great to see you again. I've been here past years and seen your
Thank you.
panels here. The characters that you created, the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, all of those have been around for longer than I've been alive, and they've got a huge history and lots of stuff's happened to them. But I wonder if there was anything you could go back and change about the way they were made when you created the characters. What would it be?
Oh, if there was anything I could have changed, I'd probably have made my name bigger in the credits. Was there more to that question? I couldn't hear the whole thing.
He was hoping it'd be a black human torch in the Fantastic Four. Would have been a massive improvement. Profits with a sword in Marvel Comics.
You may well be right. But you know, we are developing the Black Panther. Just wait till you see that. And I better get a cameo on that too.
I did like the part where he said Fantastic Four has been around longer than he's been alive.
Well, it probably has. It's been around longer than a lot of these people have been alive.
I was there when it was created, son. Thank you very much.
Hey, how do you think I feel? I was an adult at the time.
Found an adult. What do we have on this side of the room? Anyone in the back?
There better be somebody in the back. I don't want all those seats empty.
Speaking of your cameo in the Avengers, I remember you speaking here last year, talking about your cameo, how you had a speaking line with Captain America, and you stole the scene from him. Like, any idea why that was cut from the movie? Is it going to be the Blu-ray?
I missed most of it. Oh, you know, I don't know, because I have nothing to do with what they put in those versions, but are you familiar with what that cameo was? Because I'll tell you about it if you don't know. Does that mean tell or don't tell? They had Steve Rogers, as Steve Rogers, not Captain America. He's sitting at an outdoor restaurant at a table, and there's a rather pretty waitress who's been waiting on him, and he seems to like her, but he hasn't really spoken to her. And I'm sitting at the next table, and I'm seeing him and the waitress, and I see the way he looks at her, and finally I lean over to him, and I say something like, I don't remember the exact words, but, "Why don't you talk to her, you moron?" That was my line. So after I said that, the director came over and he said, "Stan, would you mind taking off your glasses? I figure he wants to fight me." So I said, "Why?" And he said, "Well, there's a glare of the camera, the lens, the lighting. It'll be better if you take your glasses off." So I took the glasses off. I turned around, and to show how good I am, I remembered the line a second time. I said, "Why don't you talk to her, you moron?" And the director looked at it and said, "Fine, you can go home now." They always give her to me right away because they don't want me disrupting the performances. I went home. I got a call a little later saying, "You know, we can't use that commercial." And there was some technical... Oh, I know what it was. It didn't look enough like me without the glasses. So they said, "We'll have to give you another one." And I had to come back to the studio, and then I did the commercial, which I did do, which I forget what the hell it was, but I'm sure it was great. And that was what the original one was. Now, whether they're going to have that on the internet or whether you'll be able to dig it up, I don't know. But because you're lucky enough to be attending this con, you all know what it was anyway. How lucky you are.
And to follow up on that question, I've just been told that it will be a deleted scene in the Blu-ray version of the Avengers. So you can pick that up, keep running it back, forward, back, forward, back. Have you had the opportunity of seeing The Amazing Spider-Man?
No, I still haven't seen the movie. And I'm told that my cameo, of course, is the high point of the movie. And it's a chance for people to see the rhythm that I have and how musically inclined I am. And this man despises me, and with good reason. I'm sorry, Mr.
That's
Lee.
okay, you're a charmer.
I know.
Question over here, before I start drinking. Go ahead.
Let me get you something.
Okay.
I just wanted to thank Stan Lee for making the character, the Incredible Hulk. Me being born with multiple birth defects, I really grew up with that character a lot, and just being able to read comics like that, pretty much have a superhero to look at and admire, is really, it helped.
I heard something about the Hulk.
We appreciate it.
Well, I'd like to think the whole world appreciates that. What have I done with the Hulk?
Wasn't black, but that's okay. I'm over that. No
This
problem.
man has never forgiven me. That's why he's so hostile. Oh, well, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. I thank you, and Bruce Banner thanks you, and the Hulk thanks you. And I used to get in such trouble. Every so often I called Bruce Banner Bob Banner or Bill Banner. I don't have a great memory. This will surprise you. And I get letters from readers all the time. You idiot, don't you know your own character's name? You know, the way I was going to talk to Steve Rogers, you moron, talk to her. That's the way our readers talk to me. You idiot. And I'd write apologetic letters, and that's how I dreamed up the idea of the no prize. Now, for those of you who don't know what a no prize is, we only have a limited time, so ask your neighbor. He'll probably explain it to you. We have to get on with the very important stuff anyway. Incidentally, he looks in the direction of where the question comes from, and I don't know how he does it. All I see is blackness, and I don't know how he... And the microphone, every question sounds like it's coming from there. Like, are they all coming from there? Is that what... Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Look who I asked for information.
Exactly. Sir, who's back there? I can't see. Hey, go ahead.
Being one of kind of the godfathers of comics and being around since the beginning, I was kind of wondering how you felt about the way the internet and technology has changed the medium over the few years.
How I felt about what? What has the internet changed in comics? I'm not aware of that. Aren't comics the same as they always were? Except they're better every day, but what's changed?
Well, I kind of meant about how the whole digital distribution, how you can pick it up anywhere on the internet. You don't have to go to a comic book store.
Oh, you mean you don't have to buy a book? You can get these things on the internet? Well, I'd say if you're a comic book fan, that ought to be a good thing. If you're the publisher, you ought to be mad as hell. But I think the publisher finds it. You know something? I'm going to tell you something I shouldn't say, and don't repeat it. Don't waste time feeling sorry for the publishers. They're really doing it.
Don't you want this man to be your grandfather or your dad? Oh my God, unbelievable.
You couldn't have said your eldest son? This man, he knows how to hurt a guy.
Okay, who else has alcohol on that side of the room? Where are you? Yes, sir.
Stan, I saw your cameo in the Spider-Man movie this summer, and that you were talking about. It was amazing to me to see you in the same room as Spider-Man fighting the lizard, and it just seemed so real. Did you ever think
It was real. You should see the wounds on Spider-Man after that ended. The Band-Aids and it was terrible.
I'm glad you made it out all right then. I'm glad you're okay then.
What was the question? But I agree, it was a great scene. I wish I could see it. I mean, I was there, I did it, but I haven't seen it yet. It must look great, because I know I was giving it a lot of this. I'm all rhythm, as you can tell. I haven't even started.
Okay, anyway. What was your question, by the way? Did you have one? Where'd he go? Lizard ate him. Okay, over on this side. Hi. Hey.
Out of all the characters you created, who has been your favorite?
Out of all the characters that I've created, do I have a favorite? That question I had to hear. The one question that I don't have an answer to. You know, I really am not good at favorites. First of all, I'm my own biggest fan. I like everything I've done. I marvel at how that's the word. I marvel at how I could have done it. Sometimes I read these things and I say, that came out of here, it's impossible. Jack Kirby would have said, you're right, it is impossible. And Ditko would have echoed that. Anyway, I don't really have a favorite. I'm always asked, what's your favorite movie, your favorite book? There's a million things I like. Now, I love the Fantastic Four, but I love Spider-Man, and I'm crazy about the X-Men, and I like Iron Man, and I don't know how you can have a favorite. It used to be whichever one I guess I was writing at the time, that was my favorite at the moment because I was involved in it. But I'm like a fickle lover. I go to another character and I forget about the other one. I shouldn't have confessed that, and you haven't heard it.
You know, a lot of chicks think I look like Luke Cage.
No, you look better than Luke Cage. You look more like me. Happy hair type and a little dark.
Folks, Stanley will be leaving early today.
All right, this man, I'll tell you, I don't have to be here with you. Peter David is somewhere in the audience, and I'm sure he's available.
Ladies and gentlemen, Peter David is in the audience, the wonderful, fantastic writer known as Peter David.
I didn't know you were going to make a speech. I only mentioned his name. How I get started.
There he is, Peter David!
This man will never miss a chance to come up and get in the limelight. Never miss. All right, I see it. You hang around.
It's already crowded up here, Peter. Anyway, anyone in this room? Next question, please.
That's it. Well, there is one.
Yes, it's a youngster, I think.
I'm wondering, which of the movies do you think captured your ideas best?
The guy knows I don't hear well, so he whispers the question to me. Thanks a lot. I don't need to fight either. Talk like a person.
I forgot the question. What would you say, son?
I want to apologize for this whole battle. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Say it again.
Which movie captures his ideals the best?
The Silver Surfer. Now, you can work that out yourself. I can't explain it. It's a silly answer, but you had to say something. No, the Silver Surfer, not the movie, because there hasn't really been a Silver Surfer movie. He was just starring or co-starring in a movie. But when I wrote the Silver Surfer, the little bits of philosophy that I tried to insert in the stories came closer to expressing my feelings about things. And that's why I said the Silver Surfer. And this shows you how dull and pedantic I can sound when I'm being serious, and why I try not to be too serious, okay? You understand? Did that come across? And are you not going to whisper to me anymore? You'll talk to me like a person, like a real guy. Like two fellas sitting together and having a conversation.
I think the Black Surfer would probably be a better idea. You really wanted to relay how you felt about things.
Well, I know a couple of people whose hair is very silvery, and I wanted to get on their side. The next time I do one, I'll do one the roller coaster man, and he'll be a black roller coaster. And we can co-star him someday with the Silver Surfer, and then somebody from China will object. It goes on and on.
Folks, thank you so much for coming out to our panel this evening.
And how can you call it, isn't a panel a plural thing on a panel? Aren't you supposed to have a lot of guests? If it's just me, it's not a panel. It's a visitation. And I want to get these things straight.
Yes, next one. Anybody out there?
I hope they didn't pay to get in.
Hi. Go ahead.
Okay, in the early 1970s, there was a Fantastic Four radio show which you did voiceovers on. Can you tell us how that came about and any stories you may have about that show?
Some about the early 70s.
Before radio.
Radio show? Can I be very honest? I don't remember it. Was that a radio show? Was I in it? Did I have a cameo? I really don't remember it if there was. Well, that's probably why I don't remember it. Don't give me a cameo. Don't ever mention it again. Hey, you want to know how DC Comics could really make a lot of money? Why haven't they thought of this? They're working on a Superman movie. Can you imagine if they advertise Superman coming soon and don't miss Stan Lee's cameo? I just thought of that. What a great idea. All right, that's enough of that.
Next question. Hi.
Mr. Lee, you've created so many iconic characters, heroes, and villains over the years. Are there any of the many heroes or villains that you created, any one of them that hasn't had as much mainstream notice or success that you think would be really good to have a little more notice from the general public?
Are any of them not as successful that I would have wanted them to be? Is that the question? See, I hear some stuff. No, I want you here because I got to have somebody to rail against. What was the question again? Yeah, they're doing it though. I love Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. And they're playing up S.H.I.E.L.D. more and more. Now I gotta tell you something about Nick Fury. He's a black man, right? Okay. Well, I'm gonna tell you what I don't like about him. All right, you ready for this? He happens to be one of the best actors in Hollywood. I'm a big fan. But they have him playing the role all wrong, I think. He wears that great dramatic-looking raincoat, you know, the big heavy raincoat, whatever the hell it is. Looks like it's Kevlar lined. But there's nothing tough about him. He talks the way you would talk, like just, a regular guy. Nick Fury was the toughest son of a bee that I ever wrote about. If you read Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos, he made Sergeant Rock look like a wimp. And I just think that when they show Nick Fury in S.H.I.E.L.D., he should be yelling at the guys and being angry and pounding the table and scaring the life out of them. But he just walks around talking like he's you. So that, when I direct the next movie, I'm going to really toughen him up. And when they find out at Marvel that I said this, they'll probably never give me another cameo. So I want you to keep it to yourself.
Well, now that he brings that up, this is an interesting segue. Most of you know that Joss Whedon is putting together a ABC series called S.H.I.E.L.D. I honestly think that if they were to listen to you, this would be the absolute perfect time to do that. If they wanted to embellish on S.H.I.E.L.D., improve on S.H.I.E.L.D.'s director, like you said, Nick Fury, which I should have had that role instead of Samuel L. Jackson, and it would have been absolutely different, then this is the opportune time for them to do that. What do you think?
Well, I don't like to butt in. So would you contact him? All right? Because I'm sure Samuel Jackson would talk to you. Although he is friendly with me. I have a lot of photographs with him, and I'm a big name dropper. Every time I go anywhere, I take my Samuel L. Jackson. Look, I know Samuel L. Jackson. And he's so impressed. But if you would contact Joss and tell him that, because he hates me to give him advice. You know, he's very sensitive about that. Yeah, he's a very sensitive man.
That's why I stand there.
But the same sensitivity that I have. Well, it's obvious how sensitive I am, but it's not as obvious with him. He scares some people. Can I have a new interlocutor, please? Interlocutor means for those of you who don't know what it is.
Is there anyone out there? Hi, go for it.
What were you thinking of when you thought of the Fantastic Four?
What was I thinking of? I was thinking of, I hope it sells and I make a lot of money. No, what happened was, God damn, I like myself. Thank you, clever people, appreciators. What happened was, is somebody missing? I'm sorry. What happened was my publisher at the time had told me that DC Comics, which at that time was called National Comics. Oh, and remind me to tell you that story after this. DC Comics had a group of heroes called the Justice League or the Justice Society or some damn thing. And it was selling well. And he said, let's us get some superheroes. Get me a team of superheroes. So I didn't want to do it like the Justice League, and of course you can understand why. So I said, I'll get a team, but I'll get a different kind of team. And I thought I'll get like a family. But like most families, they don't get along that well. And I thought, I hate teenage sidekicks. So look, if I were a superhero, there's no way I would go around with a teenager, because at the very least, people would talk. So I figured, I'm going to get a teenage sidekick, that's Johnny Storm, but I'm going to make him a real guy. He doesn't want to be a damn hero and risk his life fighting villains. He wants to ride his Chevy Corvette and date girls. And I'll get a hero and a heroine, but it won't be when he takes off his glasses, she doesn't know who he is. They know each other and they're engaged to be married, and I'll have fun with that. And I'll get a fourth guy who's the ugliest son of a gun in the world, and he'll be the most popular character because he's strong as hell, and he's got heart like you know who. So that's what I was thinking of. And what I want to tell you about is DC and what I thought of before. They were called National. When we changed our name, we were called Atlas Comics at that time, when I did the Fantastic Four. When the Fantastic Four became a hit, and the X-Men and Spider-Man and all of them, I said, we ought to change the name of our company. And we changed it from Atlas to Marvel. I mean, what a great name. You could say, welcome to the Marvel Age of Comics. Make mine Marvel and stuff like that. Okay. Over at National Comics, they were always copying us. Some genius must have said, hey, we ought to change our name too. So I understand they spent a lot of money getting a special company that advises people on how to get good names. And they worked on this and sweated over it. And finally they came up with the perfect name. DC. I mean, we were Marvel, and they were DC, and you wonder why we have seldom. And that's the end of it. But I really love them. We're all good friends. A lot of my best friends are at DC. They're a wonderful company. They just have never gotten it right. Well, how many enemies have I made tonight?
Okay, right back here, man.
Hi, Mr. Lee. How has the role of female superheroes changed in the past couple of decades? Because at first they're sort of an accessory or like Batgirl or, just sort of a wife or romantic character. Do you think it's changed at all? Or what do you think?
The role of female superheroes? I don't know that they've changed much. There just aren't enough of them. I think we ought to have a hell of a lot more. I have to be honest with you. I don't really have time to read the comics these days, so I don't follow them the way I should. So if there are any changes, I'm unaware of it. I mean, I know the Black Cat still exists, and she's in the movie, and I guess there's still a Wonder Woman, and beyond that, I don't, and whoever's in the X-Men, but I'm not really up on that. So if I try to answer you, I would be speaking from a lack of knowledge, and knowing me as well as you do, you know I would never do anything like that.
Yes, sir, in the back of the room.
Yes, my name's Eric. comics over the years that you have. But my question is, why stick with Spider-Man through the 100 issues that you did rather than any of the characters? And what does Spider-Man mean to you above all the other characters?
Something about Spider-Man. Oh, I didn't spend so much time with Spider-Man against the others. I was writing a lot of other books at the same time. I never concentrated on just one book. I was writing Fantastic Four and Daredevil. And I didn't write them all because I had to go. What happened was they started using me for other things, and they sent me around to do interviews and to go to conventions and stuff. So I didn't have that much time to do as much writing as I wanted. So for some reason, with Spider-Man, there was an unbroken chain for a while, as with the Fantastic Four. But I was always writing occasional other books too. And it wasn't a definite decision that I would just stay with Spider-Man. It just happened that way. But I have another bone to pick with you. Not only do I not hear well, but you're trying to convince me I'm blind. All I see is blackness, and you say things like, that man in the back. I can't see any man in the back. Are you making that up?
No,
Because I wouldn't know if he's lying. He could say that girl over there. I don't know.
I told you I had superhero powers thanks to you. I can see everybody in the back of the
So
room.
you are the latest superhero. You're a black superhero who can see and hear things that wonderful, normal people can't see and hear, right? All right, and then if I come up with a hero like that, would you sue me? Because I'm not going to pay you anything. My idea. All right, I'm sorry about that. Peter David, I hope you're still available.
I love this man so much. You guys having a good time so far with this?
I admire your taste.
This guy is so straight up.
Cool. I'm a very cool person.
He's cool. Over on this side.
I used to call it groovy, but I don't want to show my age.
So what in the world possessed you to create a silver character with the Silver Surfer? How did you come up with that?
Well, Jack Kirby really came up with the Silver Surfer. What happened was, I told him I wanted to get a character who was like a demigod, who got sustenance by eating the energy of other planets and therefore destroying the planets. So we worked up Galactus, and we were happy with Galactus. And what I would do, I would tell Jack what story I wanted. And I never had time to write the script, and he didn't need a script. As long as I gave him a general idea of what I wanted, he went home and he drew it. So a few days later, he brings me 20 beautifully drawn pages about the FF and Galactus, and I see this naked nut on a surfboard flying around. And I said, who's this? And Jack said, well, I figure anybody as powerful and important as Galactus ought to have a herald who goes ahead of him looking for planets. I thought that was a good idea. But to Jack, he was just a messenger who found the planets, and that was it. But there was something about the way Jack drew the Silver Surfer. To me, he looked so noble and so heroic that I decided to play him up, and I decided to let him be kind of philosophical, and I would let him express his opinion of life on Earth and why don't we all get along better together except for him. And I wanted to use the Silver Surfer as my own mouthpiece, so to speak, philosophically. And that's how it was. That what the question was, or am I rambling? I tend to ramble. I do that. You've noticed, I'm sure. Okay. Anyway, I hope that satisfies you, and if it doesn't, you're not getting your money back. I did my best.
Let me ask you though, in Fantastic Four movie with Silver Surfer, Lawrence Fishburne was cast as the voice of the Silver Surfer. If you thought of any other voice actor that you would have wanted to voice the Silver Surfer, could you come up with any?
Me. But I'd have answered that for any question. No, I haven't thought of it. I mean, I'm such a fan of Larry's. I think he did a great job.
I can't see you as the voice of the Silver Surfer.
Why not?
Excelsior! Oh, I want that planet over there because it looks exactly like me. Isn't that beautiful, Galactic? It's my leader! You don't want that. Listen to me!
waiting in the wings. I gotta warn you though, once he gets the mic, forget it.
To do Stan Lee, a proper Stan Lee, you do a combination of Maxwell Smart. And as you're doing Maxwell Smart, you slow it down so it's like Mr. Rogers. So, hello everybody, this is Stan Lee here.
I thought he was going to say a combination of Laurence Olivier and maybe Tom Cruise or Brad Pitt, just to keep it on a normal level.
Underwear, we've talked to you about that.
He said only Tom Cruise because obviously Stan dances around in his underwear, which is an image that is just deafening my eyeballs.
You were not there when they shot nude photo layout at Marvel Comics years ago.
It's all over the internet.
Yeah. Have you seen that?
Are there children in the room here?
Listen, I gotta tell you that.
Do you know about that?
A nude photo.
Here's what happened.
You remember an actor called Burt Reynolds? Well, Burt Reynolds years ago posed as a gag for Cosmopolitan magazine. He did a photo of him nude, although there was a little something covering him up. I mean, it wasn't obscene, but he was posed in the nude, and it was a double spread in the magazine. It got a lot of publicity. One day in the bullpen, I don't know how I got talked.
No. I was there, and I remember. Louise Jones was going around shooting pictures for a book called the Marvel Fumetti book, which was going to be a series of photo comics. And you kept saying to Louise, when are we going to shoot my nude layout? And Louise, yeah. Don't they always look like they're conferring at a Senate hearing? So finally, Louise calls him on it and says, okay, Stan, we're going to do it right now. He stripped down to his boxers and laid out on Jim Shooter's couch. Now, I had been told, apparently I was wrong, that he was posing with a copy of Giant Size Man Thing. Turns out that was not the case, but Louise snapped the picture and then...
wasn't it?
What? Oh, come on!
If I ever call this man up to the platform again, and if I ever work with this man, and I'm not so sure about all of you.
And then later on, somebody thought better of it. And so instead they took Stan's head and they photoshopped it onto an image of the Hulk lying on the thing in pretty much the exact same position. But yeah, now apparently the original photograph has gone out onto the net. I have no idea where it came from.
Does anyone know where the photograph is? And if I can give you my email address, I'd really appreciate it.
I want to thank the two of you.
Peter David, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't applaud too much, he may come back.
He's here all weekend, unfortunately. This guy is too. So.
You can't get rid of him, he's like a wart.
Just say his name 3 times and he'll show up. That's incredible. Anybody else out there with a question before we really go off base again? This is a good panel, right? I'm actually.
I don't know. I'm such a scholarly person. I shouldn't have to be subjected.
You're humble too.
And my humility is one of my greatest virtues. And everybody knows that.
Oh my God, where's that bar when you need it? Okay, sir, go for it.
My name's Corey. I just want to ask, out of all of the cameos that you've done, which one did you have the most fun doing?
The cameos? I think the one that I just did in Iron Man, which you haven't seen yet. And the producer of the movie is going to be happy I said this, but you must see the new Iron Man movie, because you will see a different Stan Lee than you will see. There won't be a dry eye in the house. No, it truly is very funny. And No, I cannot tell you they kill me, but when you see it, you will remember. No, they won't kill me, the producer, the director, the people, the movie studio. When you see it, you'll say, Stan was right. This is the greatest scene in any movie at any time that I have ever seen in my whole life. Just wait. Orson Welles,
Everyone knows how at the end of every Marvel movie you're not supposed to get up. Most of us who are fans of intelligent individuals know you're not supposed to get up until the screen goes dark, correct? Iron Man 3, you might want to. Just okay. You all can leave at that time because here comes Stan's big role.
Isn't the host supposed to be friendly and sympathetic to the panel? Have I not treated this man with the most utmost respect?
Sell out. Okay, next question. Yes, sir. Go for it.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me okay?
What?
Can you hear me okay? All right. So 2 years ago, a really awesome Japanese anime came out called Stan Lee's Hero Man.
Right.
When are we getting that? When are we getting that in the U.S.?
I'm not going to call Peter David again, but I'm tempted to. It's out. You've seen it. When is it coming out?
When is it coming into the States, sir, or?
Oh, no, we have to decide that the American audience is worthy of it first. I wish I could answer the question. I have no idea. I have nothing to say with when they release them or where they release them. But I will tell you, in my new company, POW Entertainment, P-O-W, which of course stands for Purveyors of Wonder, at our new company, we are producing, right now, we're working on a movie featuring a Chinese superhero. It's not a Chinese movie, it's a movie for the whole world, but the hero is Chinese, and it's called The Annihilator. And you've never seen anything like it. I am not above promoting some of my own product every so often. Remember that, The Annihilator. And now I turn you back to the real world.
And when will we see The Annihilator?
Oh, probably a year and a half.
Year and a half.
We want to make it perfect.
Alrighty. What do we got? Everyone's getting a chance. That's good. Hi.
Have you ever thought of being a playable character in any Marvel vs. Capcom?
I am a playable character in a video game. The Activision Spider-Man. Haven't you played me? I'm wonderful. No, seriously. I don't play video games myself. I have no talent for it, but I posed and they took a couple of days shooting me from all angles and putting those little electronic things on my body, and I'm now a playable character. And Activision better pay me a lot of money for the sand I'm giving them. But I'll never forget, I went to Activision once. I think they had done the Hulk game years ago, and the guy who created the game was sitting next to me, and he said, "Would you like to play it with me?" And I didn't tell him I'm no good at that stuff. I said, "Sure." So he has one of the control panel. He has a controller, and I have a controller. And he said, "Let's go." And he starts doing this. And the Hulk is running around and hitting people, and I'm sitting. If I hit this button, his arm will move. And this will make his foot move. He won. You'll be surprised to know he won.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have some very good news for you.
It's finished.
No, we only have 10 minutes left. That was good news. It would have been better news, but this is 10 minutes left, so we have to, more people want to, anyway. Yes? Go for it, on that side.
I would like to thank you for giving me the gift of imagination and making the fantastic possible. I grew up in Pakistan where I didn't have comic book stores to go to every Wednesday, and I would have my father take me to a bus stop where I could buy comics at a secondhand newspaper market. And there I believed, even though I wasn't in America yet, that if there was things possible in comics, then there were things possible in my life. And you made all that possible, so I'm very happy to be here to actually thank you in person for making that possible for me.
You are intensely welcome. Thank you very much. Oh, by the way, we're also doing a movie about an Indian superhero. That's close to Pakistan, so we'll probably get to you next. Okay.
2 more questions, folks. We have time for 2 more, so go.
Well, that depends how fast my answers are. If I answer slowly, you'll only have time for 1. If I give a 1-word answer, you might have time for 4 or 5. You've got to be more accurate. These people care about what you say. And I've spent my life educating.
Now we only have time for 1 more question, folks. 1 more question. Anyone over there?
Hi. As he just said, you have fans all over the world. We're here as a testament to that. Do you have any crazy fan stories for us?
Not really. Most of my fans are the greatest people in the world, and I love them. But the one thing that surprises me is when I'm doing autographs, so often some people ask me to sign my name on their arm or their leg or unmentionable parts of their body, and I'm always... Watch out, I might do it. And I'm always so surprised that I can't really understand why. So that's the only surprising thing that's happened with me with fans. But usually they thank me for the stories I've written, and I want to say honestly, I didn't do it for you, I did it to make a living. But it's really great to hear that. And I think I'm very lucky. I think the people who are my fans are the greatest people in the world. And when I hear other people say, oh, I would never sign autographs, or I hate these people who want to pose for a picture, to me, the most flattering thing in the world is when somebody says, can I take your picture? Would you sign an autograph? And I mean, when I was younger and when I was doing these books, in a million years, I never would have thought that one day, when I'm a few years older, I'd be sitting at a panel, or at a table like this with, well, what are you going to do? Anyway, I forgot what I was talking about, but it's great being here. I love you all. You I like, sort of. And I think I can finish it off. You got another one? Okay. I had this big finish all prepared.
Let's get one final question on this side of the room. This side.
Out of all of the characters that you've created, have you ever found yourself writing about yourself? Like,
Right.
which do you relate to the most?
You really needed to ask that question. Never mind.
Well, you know, it's a strange thing because I don't know. I'm sure that every writer who writes any characters is putting himself into it, because when you write the character's dialogue, you have to think of what that character is saying. So you have to imagine you are the character. So I guess I've been Dr. Doom, and I've been the Impossible Man, and I've been Daredevil, and I've been Sue Storm, and I've been everybody, because I had to try to think like them when I wrote their dialogue. But I'm not schizophrenic. I mean, I don't really think I am those people. And every writer, I would imagine, has to be his character while he's writing that character, or else he's an idiot. Other writers aren't idiots. Writers are I wanted to say, writers are the smartest people in the world. And you quote me.
Well, if I can end this panel by, there's really nothing that I can say up here that all of you...
You haven't said that much yet anyway.
There's no... You know,
I will not do another panel unless you're up here with me. All right? Because you're great. This man is terrific. Terrific at what? I don't know.
No, anyway, there really isn't, in all honesty, anything that I can say up here that these folks out here haven't already said or have said since you've been alive, put it that way. You have enriched our lives. You've given us excitement, action, entertainment. You made us laugh. You made us cry. People like you, we treasure with all of our heart, with all of our breath, with all of our soul. We never want to see you go, and we.
I don't want to go either.